committee is going to perform, and independent director is going to perform independently. And this is a whole thing about privileges between the private company and public company. I've given another 5 minutes time. I don't know to explain what is amalgamation itself will take at least half an hour just to say what is amalgamation. But to just do justice on the topic, I'll just tell you what are the difference between the old act and new act. The old act, section 390 to 395A, it dealt with the amalgamation and demerger. Under new act, section 232 240, it's dealt with the schemes and amalgamation and merger. In fact, what big difference is there that we'll try to understand. Anyway, we have to wait and see. But here, the funda is going to be after a big struggle. In fact, rather we used to say in practice, the entire Companies Act under Companies Act 1956, the entire Companies Act can be equated with the 5 sections of the 392, 395. In fact, rather we say it's a separate law inside the Companies Act, section 392, 395. The reason being, with the 392, 395, any kind of scheme, of course, there is a specification under old act, what are the kinds of scheme, but still, with the blessing of the High Court, in fact, any scheme can be contemplated, and with the approval of the court, it can be implemented. In fact, earlier something is not possible with any of the provisions of the Companies Act, the rescue will be the section 392, 395. We call it as a scheme. Okay, and of course we took approval of High Court, and we take all input from statutory authorities. Everything is happening legal mean only. It's not that something can happen otherwise. But still, the whole Companies Act is equated with the provisions of the scheme of amalgamation under 392, 395. That much important that it carries for any scheme of amalgamation. But after a long struggle and with so many verdicts, now little got settled in corporate. In fact, now little we can comfortably tell the corporate, yes, you can go for amalgamation. A scheme of reduction can also be done under as a part of the scheme of amalgamation and demerger. Okay. And what next important change? In fact, we have to say that the bombshell of the whole thing, the scheme. Now, earlier we have to take a representation only from regional director, registrar of companies, and official liquidator. Now, by bringing a new provision, there they made that now the High Court has to take, or even regional director has to take representation from all concerned. The NCLT has to take a representation from all concerned authorities. In fact, they themselves listed out income tax, SEBI, Competition Commission, regional director, ROC, they themselves listed out so many authorities. Apart from that, any other concerned authorities also, they have to take a representation. I don't know really when scheme will happen, because they will simply send a letter. Of course, 30 days time is given. 30 days, if they are not responding within 30 days, it deemed to have been taken as they have given a consent. But what happens in case of class 24 of the class listing agreement, where class 24A mandates a listed company just to file a scheme of arrangement with the listed company for information, not for the approval also. But immediately we will be sending a letter from the listed stock exchange saying that we are pursuing your document, we will be coming out with our observation. Till then you are requested to not to file with your scheme with the High Court. It's an instruction. The same instruction going to come from so many authorities in future, saying that we need to have a time to read and understand, to come out our observation. Till our observation comes, please don't file with the High Court. So we don't know. Suppose a company has in their accounts any pending professional fees, we may have to take Corporation of Chennai also into as a party, take a representation whether he is affected by the scheme of amalgamation. This is going to be the real scenario where I don't know really the provisions of the new Companies Act is going to be that encouraging how the provisions of the old Companies Act were. It was encouraging only, no doubt at all. Now almost with so many verdicts, now the complete position is settled now with respect to amalgamation merger. But under new act, they again opened the Pandora box and so many confusions. But after taking all these representations, I don't know when a scheme can consummate and when the company will implement. And another new provision has been brought under new Companies Act, where a report, a certificate has to be filed by either by a practicing chartered accountant or company secretary or cost accountant that the scheme is implemented the way it is approved. I really don't know. there are 100 parameters or 100 items are there in the scheme, and it will be implemented in step-by-step process. And in fact, the scheme which has got approved 4 or 5 years back, even now not got fully implemented. In fact, now the professor is going to be the scapegoat, I believe so, because they have to give a certificate now, scheme is implemented. First of all, we need to understand what is the scheme and what are the high courts, what the high courts are permitted to to be done by the company, and we have to understand, we also should understand whether the company has done it or not. So after understanding all those things only we can give a certificate. And one important and welcoming thing is, now a certificate from a chartered accountant has to be filed with the High Court that the scheme complying all accounting standards. This is going to be a big thing. I don't know any company in India is complying all accounting standards. We have to wait and see. Really a company is filing a scheme which complies all accounting standards, which is getting endorsed by a professional. And the important, I'll take another 2 minutes, I'll finish. The important difference which I want to highlight here, under the Companies Act 1956, just we had a terminology called, even a definition called transferor company, where that it's an inclusive definition, and it even permits body corporate also to merge with the Indian company. Even sometimes there are cases where partnership also is merged with the company. Even our Madras High Court also encouraging a partnership also is merging with the company by virtue of the definition of transferor company under section T90. Now there is no definition of transferor company under the new act, whereby now it is going to be a big question whether all those non-company format can be merged with the company. Now there can be amalgamation only between the in fact, rather I should say, by virtue of the old act, even LLP also can be merged. LLP also is in body corporate. In fact, there are petition is getting filed in the High Court for merging LLP with the companies. By virtue of this absence of transferor company definition under the new act, now only companies are permitted to merge each other, or only companies are permitted to contemplate a scheme of arrangement in the form of amalgamation, merger or demerger. In fact, amalgamation, merger, both are one and the same. We need not to confuse too much. In fact, I don't know why ministry or government has taken so much interest to come out with merger, because of the verdict or because of the context which is there in the Income Tax Act. For that reason only, they brought the merger within the scope of the Companies Act 2013. Otherwise, amalgamation and merger, one and the same, and there is no difference at all. Now, the foreign company, can it be merged with the Indian company? Under old act, it is yes. Under new act, by virtue of the transfer company definition that includes body corporate, earlier foreign companies were permitted to merge with the Indian company, amalgamate with the Indian company. Now, there is a separate section has come out in the new act whereby the foreign companies can be merged with Indian company, but the list has to be notified by MCA. What are the countries where the companies are registered? It will be permitted to merge with the Indian company. We have to wait and see what are those what are the countries are going to be covered in that list. And another important change now for small company. A small company is a company where having a turnover of less than 2 crores and paid up capital of less than 50 lakhs. If two small company want to merge, then they need not to approach the National Company Law Tribunal. It is sufficient that regional director approve the transaction. Of course, he has to, he should also follow the same getting representation from all government, but only exemption is they need not to approach the NCLT. And these are the main changes that a scheme as provisions of the Companies Act 2013 has brought into within its store with respect to scheme of amalgamation and merger. So any doubts you can ask me now. I'm done with my presentation.
Ready, getting ready, and we can see all the, at least those people at the back must be smelling the food already. And somebody was asking some questions sometime back whether the act will come or not. I am told actually keep regularly in all the 4 cities, keep going. I've been told that before 31st March all sections will be notified and it will be effective from 1st April. So the ministry is determined, and whether the government is determined or not, ministry is determined to notify all these things. So our speaker has confirmed that by virtue of section 1 already come into force, you can't have anybody stalling the notification process. So we are going to have the act is going to be the reality. Previously we used to say death and taxes are certain. Now companies like 1956 also, 2013 also is certain to come by 1st April. So this is the reality. So don't have any hopes that it will not come. That is one which, thank you very much, sir. And see the topic is such, it will take one full day to cover all the 3 topics. You have private companies on one side, you have listed companies on the other side, and you have M&A on the other side. Third is the M&A. So private companies, I can see the list of participants here. Sir, your days of luxury is over. You no longer consider yourself as a private limited company for the compliance purpose. Your name only is private limited company, but for all practical purposes, you are not going to have any luxury. See, this is one thing which the secret I knew when I spoke before, but I didn't want the bad news to be given by me. I wanted my good friend to tell all of you that only the OPC, the one person company is only having the luxury now. Other than that, private limited companies are no longer going to have this luxury. And if you want to make some representation, take it seriously. They have to, 1 minute, sir. If you want any more relaxation in private limited company, you should take it up by way of a separate notification to be made by the ministry rather than now. At this stage, I don't think they will give you any relaxation. The second thing with reference to listed company, I can guarantee you whatever we do in the act, SEBI will come. SEBI will notify. So already they have notified 1st October 2014, many things which they said, whatever happens to the act, they are not relevant. They have given compliance through listing agreement and they have notified. And the third, M&A, he elaborated very well. Few things, only simplified process for many companies. So most of us can go under the simplified process. You don't need a very detailed scheme of amalgamation to come. And I think foreign company, Indian company merging with foreign company, all those things are also there with reference to that. And again, I saw one provision, sir. Maybe you may be able to clarify. I don't think we'll have question session now. Question you can ask during lunch to the speaker privately. But once one person has raised the hand, we will come to that.
Just a comment. There is also an enabling provision where the government can accept the applicable provision. So I'm sure after all the provisions are written and that section gets modified, all the useless sections that will provide this will get exempt. Otherwise, the workload of government will go, crazy.
You need to make representation, they will notify. So we'll have to wait and see. That's why I'm saying all private limited company lobby has to work. You can't take it lightly and you have to make a representation saying that we enjoyed certain privileges before. Why are you suddenly ill-treating us? No longer you are enjoying certain provisions. So that is one. And then there is one provision which I saw some time back, that if you are acquiring a company and the 10% of people cannot raise objection. So if you have got 90% of the company, those minority shareholders, you can buy over. So in an M&A, the 10% people cannot create problems. So you cannot, there is a provision in the act, the new act, which says that this 10% people can be bought over by the person who is already bought 90% in the company. So that again, it's a very good thing or bad thing, I'm not sure. But that provision is there very much with reference to certain takeovers. Any other question? One question or two? People are not interested. When is the lunch ready?
Advance that you entered before September 12, correct? Before September 12, you entered an agreement, or the arrangement is before September 12 that you given the loan. So you have to have a document before September 12 that you are advancing some money. That you are asking now, correct? That you already advanced before 12. That goes by original term. Probably 4 years, 5 years, which term you agree, I don't know. That will go. The new provision cannot touch the old act or old transactions. It cannot be questioned by the new provision. But your agreement should be so clear that the transaction is there and repayment period is for.
Okay. Maybe the further questions we can take it during the break. May I invite a member from Tirupur CAT Natarajan sir, a senior member from Tirupur sir. Your presence is requested here. He has come along with his other partners. So thank you for your presence, sir. So you are requested to honor on behalf of each and every one of us here, the speaker of the technical session, CSS Dhanapal, with a memento and a fruit bouquet. Thank you very much. We have another member here, CA AV Gopala Krishnan from AV Varadarajan and Co. Sir, welcome, sir. On behalf of every one of us present here, kindly present a shawl, a fruit bouquet, and a memento. We missed welcoming our chairman. Friends, please join your hands for Mr. Shekhar. He has travelled exclusively from Hyderabad only to present among us and to share his thoughts. Thank you, Shekhar sir, for your presence. Friends, we will come back with more energy. We have the afternoon speakers and the chairmen who are present here. We'll take a break of 20 minutes and we'll assemble back in the same hall again. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I have the pleasure of having your attention. On behalf of each and every one of you, let me take the pleasure of inviting the chairman of the 4th technical session and also the speaker of the 4th technical session. Let me invite CA.S. Satyanarayanan to the dais along with CA.T.G. Suresh. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Let me take the privilege of inviting Senior Manager Finance of Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, Jnana Ranjan Panda. Mr. Jnana Ranjan Panda to the dais to welcome the chairman of the technical session, CA.S. Satyanarayanan, with a fruit bouquet and a shawl. Thank you. Let me invite from JK Fenner India Limited, M. Sundar. Mr. M. Sundar, I think he is having his, yes, he's here, okay, Sundar. Mr. Sundar, an young Deputy Manager, Secretarial Internal Audit, Company Secretary of JK Fenner India Limited, to welcome our speaker, CA.T.G. Suresh sir, with a fruit bouquet and a shawl. Thank you. Now a brief about the chairman of the session, CA.S. Satyanarayanan. Mr. Satyanarayan is a fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants, associate member of Institute of Cost and Works Accountants of India, and also associate member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India, and also a Bachelor of Law. Currently practicing as an advocate in Madras High Court, partner in Wise and Worth Advocates and Consultants, and he is into tax and IPR law. Friends, with this brief